Thanks so much for joining us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Limnacker, taking a look at some of the top stories that we're following right now. I want to show you the scene of where a death investigation is underway right now. This is in Midtown Atlanta, and it's underway near a very busy intersection. We sent our crews on the ground as well as First Alert Chapter to gather some images of the scene, and there was a lot of police activity. We did blur out the image of White Street, which is, again, a busy section of Midtown where a body was discovered in a parking lot, and it sits right behind Dean's Midtown gas station, not associated with the gas station. At this point, again, this is a death investigation. We have inquiries to Atlanta police, and just several other local sources that we have. Once we do hear back, of course, we're going to pass along any information to you. The good news is it's not impacting any traffic, any vehicle movement in that area, so that's the positive. We're going to keep following all the latest developments here on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. Also, what a big day at Apalachee High School. Today will be the first time that students and staff will go back inside of Apalachee High School in Winder since the deadly shooting there 3 weeks ago. And they're being eased back into their daily routines today. This morning, the school will welcome those who are comfortable with returning to an open house, and classes are set to resume tomorrow. Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond reports from Apalachee High School where they're planned to return.
At 9 o'clock today for those who are comfortable coming back to campus. And when classes resume tomorrow, they'll only stay for a half day, and those half days will continue until October 4th. Once students and staff return from fall break on the 14th, they'll be back full time. But as for today, 9th graders can come to the open house at 9 a.m., 10th graders at 10, and 11th and 12th graders at 11 this morning to ease themselves back into being at the school. When students return, school officials say there will be an increased law enforcement presence, additional counselors, therapy dogs, and other resources. In the building's J Hall, the area where the shooting actually happened, that will be closed for the rest of the year, and social studies classes will be held in a nearby Barrow County Schools building. Buses will take students back and forth. And it's a day that for many, like student Armando Martinez, it will bring back painful memories of what happened here 3 weeks ago.
It was hard even being there myself, given the fact that I was in that room where I was practicing, where I was in that room whenever it happened, and just to be in there in that moment, it was scary, but to know that we have a strong community.
Barrow County Sheriff Judd Smith is expected to make a statement here as students and staff return to the campus. At Apalachee High School, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First. Hello.
And happening just hours from now, 6 University of Georgia students will speak out after they were arrested during campus demonstrations against the Israel-Hamas war earlier this year. Atlanta News First Asia Wilson is at the state capitol where students are asking to get their disciplinary charges dropped.
Those 6 students say they had a right to protest, adding that none of their actions interrupted any academic activities. They'll plead their case inside of the Georgia State Capitol this morning. Now, in addition to those students, the Georgia chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, alumni, Georgia elected officials, and even some university faculty will be speaking during that press conference. Now, this all stems from an encampment on campus where 25 people gathered to protest against the Israel-Hamas war. 16 of them were arrested. 6 of those students received disciplinary charges, but were also suspended from the university through this semester. The university has been standing by the suspension. In fact, UGA officials say the students were in willful violation of university policy when setting up that encampment. Now, just last month, we spoke with one of the arrested students who spoke about how this is impacting her life.
I lost the chance to graduate with the class of 2024, which was hard, but I would be lying if I said I feel sorry for myself, just because there are thousands of students in Gaza right now who will never live to see graduation. I will be a much, much less proud graduate of the University of Georgia had none of this occurred.
Back in July, there was a disciplinary hearing stating that those students would be on probation for the remainder of their academic careers at the university. Meanwhile, that press conference is set to start at 11. In downtown Atlanta, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
All right, and if you like going to the movies, well, soon you're going to see some new upgrades next time you go to the movie theater. The industry group representing the largest 8 theater chains in the United States has announced it's investing more than $2 billion in new upgrades. Some of the renovations are going to include some new projection technology, some better sound systems and seating, as well as revamped carpeting and better food. So a massive makeover at the box office that is going to impact moviegoers all across the country, including right here in Atlanta. And, you know, I also just want to take a moment to point you to our website, atlantanewsfirst.com, where you can follow all our top stories. And also, you know, as we're keeping an eye on the weather forecast as well, I encourage you to download our free Atlanta News First weather app, because there you can get specialized forecasts, which I've really enjoyed, typing in various zip codes to make sure that, you know, I get to check a specific forecast for whatever city I'm going to be in. I want to hand things over now to First Alert meteorologist Rodney Harris. And Rodney, I see a chance of rain, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. Let's hear the details.
Good morning to you, Joy. You definitely will be feeling that rain by the end of the week. So what I'm starting with, Joy, is our overall rain forecast this week. As you can see there, those rain chances are gradually increasing throughout the week. So today and tomorrow, it's just so hot and humid outdoors that these are your typical summertime type storms, even though technically we're in fall as of yesterday. But with that heat and humidity out there, some isolated storms will be possible in metro Atlanta and North Georgia today and tomorrow. Not a lot. We're talking like maybe 5 storms or less, but it's not impossible after 3 o'clock this afternoon to see a pop-up shower or storm. Same story for Tuesday. So those are the rain chances for today and tomorrow. And as you can see, by Wednesday, the rain chance increases to 40%. That's because of a cold front that will slide into northwest Georgia on Wednesday. So the coverage of rain is expected to increase, especially north and west of Atlanta, and we'll keep you up to date on that. The biggest rain chances, though, definitely on Thursday and Friday. Both Thursday and Friday are first alert weather days, and that is because of the tropics. So as of now, we are still looking at a tropical wave that is currently located in the Western Caribbean. This tropical wave is expected to become either a tropical depression or tropical storm soon, before Wednesday. Once that happens, whatever this becomes will eventually be a hurricane, Hurricane Helene, in the Gulf of Mexico this week. And as you can see, that red is moving toward the eastern Gulf of Mexico. We have a pretty consistent set of models right now when it comes to the eventual path of this system. These are our spaghetti models. As you know, it's all of our different models on the same map for you to give you an idea of what we're looking at in terms of all those models. Whenever those lines are tight the way that they are, that means that our confidence is high on the track. Whenever those lines are spread out further apart, our confidence is lower. As you can see, most of those lines are basically hitting the Florida Peninsula. So we're pretty confident that there will be a landfall in Florida, the western side of Florida, the peninsula, by Thursday. That's landfall. And then, as you can see, a lot of those lines move directly into Georgia. So we are also convinced that we will see impacts here in North Georgia because of this tropical system. Again, we are forecasting it to become a hurricane. We don't think it'll be a hurricane by the time it gets into North Georgia, but we will definitely see, at a minimum, some impacts from this Thursday and Friday in metro Atlanta. So that's why we have those first alert weather days. Here's a look at our forecast model, and I've zoomed this out to give you an idea of where this storm is. I'm going to take that banner off so you can see the bottom of the screen. That's the hurricane. This is Thursday morning, just west of Florida. So if you are traveling, by the way, to Florida, those impacts are going to start on Thursday, if not sooner. The center of this particular storm is expected to eventually make that landfall by Thursday night. And as you can see, Thursday is when that heavy rain starts to actually move into Georgia, South Georgia initially. Looks like for us in metro Atlanta, it's lighter rain initially, and then going into Friday is when that rain really starts to pick up. So first alert weather days for Thursday and Friday. Looks like Friday is definitely the worst day. So definitely seeing a ton of rain, anywhere from like 3 to 5 inches as of today. In addition to that rain, though, we are also looking at the potential for some gusty winds. Tropical storm force are not impossible. That's 39 miles per hour. So when you take the heavy rain and the gusty winds that we're forecasting, you can get some trees and even power lines to come down. So that will be a concern as we go into Friday. And we can't be too specific on where isolated tornadoes will be possible yet, but we do know that in North Georgia, isolated tornadoes possible Thursday and Friday. Once we fine-tune the details of the track, we'll be able to nail down the highest risk of tornadoes and where they will be, but we know that that generally will be possible with this particular system. So getting into Thursday and Friday, here's what you can expect in Metro Atlanta for sure. Heavy rain will be out there with the potential for some isolated flooding. Gusty winds will also be out there, and again, we are at least looking for the potential for isolated tornadoes. So that's something we're going to be watching for you very carefully here. There's the 7-day forecast. So as you can see, today it's really all about the heat. Yesterday we had a high of 97 degrees. It was a record high for Atlanta. Today we're up to 95 degrees, which will also break a record. So today and tomorrow, it's really more about the heat than anything else. And even though a storm or two will be possible again, most of us staying dry with those rain chances fairly low. By Wednesday, the high drops to 86 degrees. Our rain chances increase northwest of Metro Atlanta. And then Thursday and Friday are those first alert weather days, again, for rain, wind, and the potential for some isolated severe weather. Obviously, with that rain out there, temperatures won't be as hot on Thursday and Friday with highs in the 70s. I also want to point out this weekend, once this tropical system passes us by, the rain chances won't completely go away. We'll keep rain chances in your forecast. A low-end chance of rain on Saturday and Sunday with highs in the low 80s. So while the weekend is not a washout and that tropical system will pass us by this weekend, if you do have plans, go ahead and prepare for that in advance. At least some scattered storms will be possible each day. But our focus certainly on the tropics and what we are expecting Thursday and Friday. So we're going to fine-tune the forecast, provide you more detail as the days go by, but just circle both Thursday and Friday on your calendar because those are the days where we are certainly going to see more rain, gusty winds, and the potential for some isolated severe weather. We'll keep you up to date with a forecast again on Atlanta News First at noon. You can always find that forecast in our First Alert Weather app. Enjoy today. Stay cool in the heat, and until next time, we'll see you soon.